Hi everyone, it's Heather here from Katy Designs and welcome to another live crafting stream. I can't wait to show you what we've got on offer today. So welcome to my home studio. I'm streaming live from home. So I've got all my crafting things around me here. And we've got Christine in the office managing all the comments today. So any questions you have, pop them in the comments. Christine and the team will try and answer any questions you have, and she'll also pop any links into the chat with any products we're using today. So with all that in mind, let me switch over to my desktop camera and I can show you what we'll be making today. Let's have a look. So I'm going to be showing you how to make two different cards today. We'll be looking at the Pretty Petals Picket fences, which make 8 different cards. So we'll be making one of those. We'll be looking at the Mini Butterflies silicone mould and some Hearty Soft clay and how to use those to incorporate those into your card craft. And we'll also be making one of the wonderful Wellington boots cards. So these are 2 that I've made previously. So this is a lovely picket fence card. It's a lovely 3-dimensional statement card, very interactive to use and really, really pretty. And then we have our lovely Wellington boots cards, and with your lovely decoupage flowers on the top there. So these kind of emerged as a result of our best-selling decoupage patch pots cards that we've got. So let me show you how we're going to make these and what you're going to get in each of the packs. Let's move these out the way and bring in my Pretty Petals pack. But before we go into making cards, actually, I want you, if you're going to be doing any mold making, any elements to go with these cards, what I suggest is let's get our clay out first. And I want you, when you first get your clay, I'm using the Hearty Soft Air Dry clay. When you first get your clay, it may be a little wet when you first get it out of the packet. So what we recommend is just take a little bit of clay out the pack beforehand. And I'm just flattening this out. And I'm going to pop this to one side just while we're making our card, just so that it can dry out a little bit and that excess moisture in the clay can evaporate, and that way it's less likely to stick into your mold. So I'm going to pop that to the side, and then in between the 2 cards, we'll come back and we'll make some butterflies. Make sure you seal your pack of clay like that, just to make sure that there's no air inside, and you want to keep your clay nice and soft. Let's move the clay off to one side, and let's bring our gorgeous Pretty Petals picket fence card making kit back into focus. So this kit, this is the first card we'll be making. This kit will allow you to make 8 cards, or a minimum of 8 cards. And what you're going to get in this kit is 2 of each design. So we have provided you with step-by-step instructions so you can see how to make each card. And if you click on the little QR code at the top here, it will take you to our website where we've got a step-by-step instructions there, so you can download these again if you need them. It's also got a video showing you how to make each of these cards, and there'll be some examples of some ready-made cards as well. So if you're not quite sure what to do, you've got the reassurance that you've got the online help if you need it. So then we have, what you're going to get in this pack is you're going to get 8 scenes, so it's 2 of each. So you've got a lot, and this will go on the inside of your card. So you've got a lovely country walk, you've got a lovely walk through a garden, you've got your garden shed here, and there's space here so you can put any of your words or sentiments that you want to add there. And then, of course, you've got a lovely country cottage. So you get 2 of each of these designs, and you get 8 envelopes as well. that will fit your cards perfectly. Then on top of that, you've got your picket fences. Now these are, we've got these in 4 different colours. So, and I will show you how these come apart and how they assemble in just a moment. So you've got a lovely whitewashed wood, you've got pine or oak, you've got a lovely grey wash or old oak, and you've got your lovely dark brown fence here. And these are all pre-cut and pre-scored, so these will just easily come out of the paper, and they're all pre-scored for you, and I will show you that in just a moment when we get to making it. So you get 2 of each of those designs, so 2 of each colour there, and then you have your decoupage elements. So you're going to get 2 sheets of these flowers. Again, these are all pre-cut for you, so all you need to do is just pop these out of the sheet, and you'll have 2 sets here. So you've got 8 sets of flowers for your 8 cards, and then you've got some extra embellishments down here at the bottom. So you've got 4 little birds, or 8 little birds in total, and 8 little sentiments. So you can decide where you want those to go. So this will give you your 3D element to the cards you're making. So I've separated some out already. Let me just quickly get my little pack. I'm going to put these instructions next to me so I can see what I'm doing. So let's pop those to the side and bring in the pack that I'll be using. So as I was saying, you're going to have your picket fence decoupage piece. This is the card element, and these pop out really easily. They're pre-cut for you, so you can just take all these bits out. You've got 2 little struts here as well. Just pop those out and keep all these little extra bits. These little struts here, you can use these later. Just pop these out. They pop out really easily, and then just fold along that pre-scored line, and there you have your little picket fence. So let me get the one I got out earlier. I pre-folded this one for you. So as you can see, they fit nicely into the envelope. So, and there's your lovely flowers again. Let's pop those to one side. I've got a lovely pack here that I've been assembling. Here we go. So these are all the little elements that you are going to need to make your card. So you've got your card piece here, and then you've got your scene. So you can choose which scene you want to pop in your card. So you could have a lovely country garden shed there. Actually, I kind of like that one. They're all beautiful. Lovely holiday cottage, lovely country walk in a lovely country garden, or you've got a lovely meadow. So whichever one you want to use, and then of course your flowers will all fit on the front here. So I think let's go for this one here for a change. Now you can use the pictures on the front of the cards, on the front of the pack for inspiration, but you don't have to follow these. You can put whichever flowers you want in front of whichever fence with whatever background you want. This is your choice. So what you will first need to do is, let's move these out the way. I'm a messy crafter. Everything goes everywhere. Fold your card along the score line, and then just secure that down using a bone folder or a pen or a paintbrush, just making sure that that fold is nice and firm. And then we need to attach the center part, or the scene for your card, onto the inside of the card here. Now for this, I'm just going to use a little bit of my tape gun. You can use double-sided tape, you could use a little bit of PVA glue, or a glue stick for this, whatever you have. Of course, I knew this would run out. There we go. They always run out when it's alive. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that on there. Put that to one side. And then let's just center this nicely. I want a nice white border all the way around. But you don't have to have this on a white border if you wanted to put this back. If you wanted this to be the front of a card, you could use that as the front of a card as well. But these are, yeah, be as creative as you want to be. All right, then we have these two little struts here. Now, I've already popped some foam tape on the back. I'm using, we sell the foam pads, so I'm using two different sizes for my projects. I'm using a 24 by 12 millimeter foam pad, and I've got some 4 by 4 millimeter foam pads as well. So these are a really handy size. I kind of use them for everything, and you can cut them smaller if you need to. And now these struts, or these pieces of wood, you can decide where you want these to go. So you could pop them on the front of your card like that, or if you wanted to, you could have one going across the back like that, or you could even have it going across the front like that. For this, I'm going to put them on the front. So this is just following the instructions that we have here. So let's just pull these little tabs off, which are always full of static and always stick to me. Yeah, go on, go away. Line that up and pop that on top. And I like the way that they overlap slightly. I think that looks really, really sweet. If they overlap too much and you don't like that, just cut them shorter with a pair of scissors. It's up to you. Let's take this foam tape off. Pop those. Pop that on there. And you're already getting that 3D element to your card. So now it looks like a proper little fence. And then we're going to come in with our floral elements. Now I've already stuck these on, these all already have their little foam tabs on the back, but I didn't want to waste time by me trying to get all those little little tabs off, so I've already pre-stuck these down. Now you can decide to use foam tape for the first one, or you could just use double-sided tape. I've used some double-sided tape for this one because I don't want I don't want the first one to stick out too much. But you can decide whether you want to use foam tape for this or double-sided tape. And I'm going to take my first two, and I'm going to lay these. So you could have just one central in the middle, or you can separate them out. So I think I'm going to separate these. I'm going to pop. Let's see, I'm going to pop this one over here. I'm going to pop that one over there. So I'm just overlapping them ever so slightly. Now you could leave it like that, or if you want to have that go even more three-dimensional, you can start building up the layers. So I think I'm going to add, and the designs match up. So you can have them slightly off center. You don't have to put them directly on top of each other. I sometimes like having them kind of slightly off, so you've got a little bit of a disconnect there. I think it just gives it a little bit more of a three-dimensional look. Pull the next one off. There we go, and pop that one on there. And let's add, that one over there. And all of these images line up, so that one can go. See, I keep sticking it to myself. There we go. That one can go over there. Now you can also keep some of these flowers and just add them in different parts of your cards. So I want to add a nice little sign onto my piece here, and then we'll add some flowers next to that. So again, I've got some foam tape on the back here. Just pull that off. So that is sitting above the fence. You've got that that lovely 3D effect there. Let's pop. I'm going to pop a little flower over here, so it looks like a little flower has come away. I think I'm going to, could add that one there, but I think I'm going to, yeah, no, I will pop that one over there. I can never make up my mind when it comes to crafting, but I think that's what makes it so much fun. So I've put on the bird here, I've put some of the smaller tabs. So it just needs a couple of those, or you could put one big one. And then let's position him. I think I'm going to pop him over there, not straight onto the sign, but a little off to the side, just to balance the left and the right hand sides. And there, instantly, very, very quickly, you have a beautiful sentiment card. I mean, I'd be thrilled if I received this card. And here is its sister I made earlier. And you can see you've got two very different looks there, but really simple to make. Another little tip I just wanted to show you with the flowers that you get. So the design at this decoupage layer here. Oops, just dropped one of the flowers on the floor. With this decoupage layer here, someone made a comment to me the other day that they find it confusing because the flowers aren't numbered. We haven't numbered them because we want you to be able to decide where you place your flowers. Put them wherever you want them to go. But in general, what I found is that the small pieces on the side here generally match up with the larger pieces. So you've got this large piece here. This flower will fit on top of that one. That one will fit on top of that one. This little flower here, you've got the centerpiece right next to it, so you know that piece fits on there, that piece fits on there. And typically, you will have these little, all the smaller bits that fit on top will be in the general area of where they need to stick. So it is very simple to put together, but there's just a little extra tip if you're struggling with where to put the flowers. And again, this card will fit nicely into your envelope, ready to send off to your friend. And of course, it will go in the post as well because it'll still be flat enough to go in the post. So let me bring you back to, oh yeah, let's have a look at these scenes again. If you decided you wanted to change this card up a bit, you wanted a different scene, you can change the whole look of your card just by deciding which scene you use. Actually, I really do like that garden shed. It really, really does look pretty. Right, let's get back to our clay. It's been sitting for just a few minutes while we've been making that lovely card, and it's now not too sticky. So this is going to be perfect to put into the molds. So I'm going to bring over my little butterflies and show you how to use our Mini Butterflies mould. Now, I like to use a little bit of corn flour in my molds. And the reason I like doing this is just so that the clay doesn't stick too much. Now, I've got two methods of doing this. You can either use, this is a t-shirt with some corn flour inside, or you could use a little baby sock and just dust that over your mold, or you could just use a paintbrush or a makeup brush just to dust some corn flour in there, just so that the clay doesn't stick, and tap out any excess there. And these butterflies are so lovely. You can really make them three-dimensional. So these are some that I've already decorated. Let's just get these out there. Some of these are really, really tiny. I love how tiny these are. And these, of course, will add some lovely interest to your cards. I mean, that's quite a big butterfly against that card, but we've got some small ones here as well. So we could we can add some of those lovely butterflies to our cards. So let's put those to one side and get some clay into this mould. So you're not going to need much clay for this, but you don't want it to be too wet and sticky and stretchy, otherwise you're not going to be able to get it out of the mould. So it needs to have some integrity, not too much stretch to it. So pop the clay, just push the clay into the mould and really smear that in there. If you've got too much, you can just slide it off with your thumb. So let's do that again, and if you make a mistake, just take it out and put it back in. So pop some clay into the mould like that. I always go for a little bit too much to begin with, and then I will slide the clay away from the centre with the side of my thumb, and then pull the clay back in so it's away from the edges, because this will help with the release. If you find it sticking to your fingers, just pop some corn flour onto your fingers and then push the clay into the mould, pulling it away from the edges, which will help it release easily from the mould. Then you need to give the mould a flex. And as you can see, that is just starting to come out of the mould all by itself. You're not having to fight with it, and it just pops straight out. Now, I recommend that you pop this onto some paper towel to dry. This will help it dry much quicker. So you'll have the air drying it on top, and the paper towel will be drawing the moisture from the underside and drying it that way as well. So things are going to dry, your pieces are going to dry much, much faster if you pop them onto some paper towel. Because the clay is so lightweight, I wouldn't recommend putting this in front of a fan, because the butterflies will start flying away, and you'll be collecting them from all over your craft room. The other lovely thing about these, as while the clay is still wet or not dry, you can shape these. So what I'm doing here is I'm just pinching with my fingers and pinching the wings together slightly, just to give it a little bit of a 3D look, like that. And because the clay is so lightweight, it holds its own shape, so you don't have to do much in the way of supporting it to stay in that shape. So you could pop it upside down on your paper towel, all the right way up, and just pop those to one side. I'm going to do one more, and then we'll move on to our next card while these are drying. Now, these won't take very long to dry because they are quite small, and my room is quite warm today, so hopefully these will be a bit firmer to handle by the time we get back to them. But I do have some here that I dried overnight, just to make sure that they're completely dry before we get to the decorating stage. So we're just going to pop that into the mould again. Give the mould a flex. You're wanting to get air underneath so that you're not having to pull the clay out of the mould. You want it to release almost by itself. And pop that little butterfly out of the mould. And if you want to shape it, just give it a little pinch, kind of towards the body, the base of the wings. Just give it a little pinch like that, and that will give it that three-dimensional look. So it looks like the wings are flying. The little wings are open and the butterfly's about to take off. So I'm going to pop that onto the paper towel, and I'm going to put this to one side so that we can leave it to dry. Any excess clay that you've got left over, just make sure that you pop this back into the packet, reseal that bag, and then your clay will be good to use next time. If you wanted to seal that with some tape to make sure that the clay is completely airtight, you can do that. I'd also recommend just placing that into a plastic bag as well, just to ensure that no air gets inside and dries out the clay. So let's pop these butterflies off to the side. And let's have a look at making one of these beautiful Wellington Boots cards. I think these are ingenious. I really, really love these. So let's have a look. I've put the pack here somewhere. I'm good at putting things down and then not remembering where I've put them. So here we have our welly boots. Wonderful Wellington boots. And a friend told me this morning that I need to remind you all that you can't wear these. They are paper, so they're not waterproof. I said if my feet fit in these, you can start calling me Thumbelina because they're quite small. So let's have a look. We have got, again, like with all our card making kits, we've got your inspirational images on the front over here, just giving you an idea of how you can create these cards. And then on the back, again, we have the step-by-step instructions, both written and in pictorial form. So if you don't want to read the instructions, I'm really bad at reading instructions. You can just follow along with the pictures, and that will just take you through the process. And if you don't want to read the instructions and you want to watch a video, again, we've got the video here. Just follow the QR code and it will take you through to the step-by-step with inspirational images. And it also means that if you don't want to keep the instructions and you want to use all of these little pictures as extra design elements for your projects, you can do that, which I think is great. So you could just fussy cut these out and use them in other projects. So in this kit, you're going to get your card element. So if I get these out, because I've already cut these up. So yes, you're going to get your card element, and this is going to be you're going to get 8 cards in this pack, or you'll be able to make a minimum of eight cards. So you've got your card section here, and these are all pre-scored and pre-cut for you, so you don't have to worry about where to fold, where to cut. And we've got these in 4 different colours. So you have your pale blue welly boots, you've got your red polka dot boots. Love these ones, they're so colourful. You've got your pale purple or wisteria. I think it's such a beautiful colour. I love that. And then you have your pink polka dots as well. Then you get your matching envelopes. So your cards will fit nicely. Scattering everything here, such a messy person. You're going to have your card will fit there with the flowers, fit nicely into those matching envelopes. And again, you've got the same, you've got 2 sheets here of your decoupage flowers, which will give you that 3D element for the top of your Wellington boots. So let me show you how these assemble. So here we go. So again, we've got the instructions here. Let's just put those to one side. And the first thing you need to do is just pop these elements out of your main card. So this is high quality printing. It's a 300 GSM card. So it's a really good quality, sturdy card. And then pop those pieces to one side. And you're left with this. But don't go throwing this away, because you can use all these pieces. You can still use the rest of this card. So you could fussy cut this area here. And in fact, I have actually done that. For this section here, I've just cut that out and turned that into a gift tag. So that could, once we finish this card, that could match up with this card. So you could make the card and then you could attach this to the gift with that card. So you could have that. You can fussy cut out the little boots and the rest of the cards so that you've got that for another project. And if we come back to this card here, if you wanted to, you could just attach that as an extra embellishment onto your other cards. So you can mix and match all of these little pieces with all the card packs. So pop those to one side again. And again, you're going to want to pop out all these flowers. They just gently, just give them a gentle pull, and then they start coming out of the packaging, or of that die cut. Then, so you're going to have these three pieces. So you've got your base card, you've got your Wellington boots topper, and then you've got, this is the piece that slots inside. And don't forget to remove the section here as well. And then that will fit nicely on top of the card. And these pieces are great. I don't want to throw these pieces out. Keep these, because I was just thinking the other day, those look like rabbit ears, or they could be the start of if you have enough of those, you can have a little star. Once you can fan those out, or they could be fanned out the other way. But they also look like little gems and little teardrops. So you could add a little sentiment on there and add those as extra embellishments on your cards. So don't throw the little extra bits out. Keep these. They're great for adding a little bit of interest. So you've got your card. You're going to fold it along the pre-scored line, like it's showing you here. So fold along the line. I like to give it an extra bit of help with my bone folder, and just make sure that that line is nice and secure. And then that little card that we had earlier, that will slot inside the top of your card like this. And this is where the 3D element will come in, and this is where we're going to add our flowers. Now, in the instructions, it shows us putting the tape on top of the image, but if you want to keep that image and you want that visible, just put your tabs on the other side of the card. So you can put the tabs whichever end you want. That will slot inside there. And then we're going to add our welly boots on top of this. So if you want to just give that a little bit of a shape, just fold that, carefully manipulate the edges just to give that bit of a rounded look. So it's got that slight curve to it. Forgot to add some foam pads to this earlier, so let's added foam pads to the backs of all the flowers, and I forgot to add it to the boots. So you can add more foam pads if you wanted to. I'm just going to add 4 for now, and pull these away. And please, if you do have any questions, pop them in the comments. We should be able to we'll try to answer any questions you have. I'll pop on a bit later and have a look at any questions as well. So if you want to ask me something directly, just pop a comment in there, and we'll try to answer your questions as soon as we can. Oops. So take that out, line up the top, press that down, and then there you can see you've got it. Now it looks like you're looking through the boots at that little scene in the background. So it's already starting to look three-dimensional. Pop your card into the slot here. Now I've put some foam tape on the top here, but I've double layered it. So this will allow for the foam tabs that you put on this top layer of the welly boots, and still give you that gap, so that when you stick your flowers on top, you've got that extra gap. And then we can start going in with our flower topper. So I'm going to remove these little static strips and make some floor confetti, and then I'll tidy up my studio later. And then let's just decide where, so you can decide how high or how low you want this part of the card to go. I think I'm going to have these come quite low over, oops, low over my boots. There we go. I like that. And then as you take that out, you can see that that will just slot easily on top of the boots. And then you stick your foam pads to the other side. Let's peel these off. So I've put foam pads onto the back of my flowers here. Some of these have been cut in half, and I've got some of the smaller ones here as well. And again, these just line up, so just find out where they line up. You can have them directly on top, or you can just have them slightly offset, just to give it a little more interest. So you could leave it like that, and then you could use these extra elements down here on the boots, but let's have a look at what I've got here. So this little piece will line up with that flower there, and this one is the center for that piece there. Then this one will go over, so we could make this a little bit more three-dimensional and add it to that flower there, but I think I'm going to add a few flowers down here actually. So you don't, you could stick them up there, or you can just stick them at the base of your boots there, just to give it a little bit more dimension. And let's add that piece. Looks like that one goes over, yes, over there. And then if you wanted to, which I'm going to, you've got the choice here. This is one of the struts that I kept from the Picket fence cards. I've got my little bird there, and I've got my little best wishes tag. So you can then decide where you want this to go. You could have that across the boots like that. You could attach this to a little piece of the strut, and we could insert that into the top of the card there. In fact, I think I want to do that. So I'm going to get a little bit of PVA glue. Just going to add a little bit of that to my card here. Pop my little best wishes signpost on there. Bearing in mind this glue is still wet, so that will need a little time to dry. And I've popped some double-sided tape onto the back of this strut, and I'm going to slide this in between little foam pads. Press that down, and I've got a little best wishes sign that's poking out of the flowers, and you can still keep that going in and out like that if you want to. And I think I'm going to, oh yeah, that actually looks really nice with the little bird there. So let's grab a foam tab. I wasn't sure where I was going to put this bird earlier, which is why I haven't stuck any foam pads down to it. Just make sure that I'm positioning that. So because the bird's head is going to be in that open area, I've not put any foam pads in that section. You could double up if you wanted to, make it extra thick so you've got extra reinforcing. It's just using my fingernails just to kind of curve the card just a little bit to give it that little curvature, to give it some extra movement. And let's just pop our little bird onto our card. Now in the instructions it's saying to place a little bit of adhesive onto the back of your card here. Now that's what I've done with this card. So these flowers don't come out, they are stuck to the inside of the card here. But this is entirely your choice. If you want to be able to have an extra secret message that you can remove from the card, don't put any adhesive there. It just means that the card will flap around on the inside. But that's entirely your choice. So you can choose to stick that down or not, and then these cards will stand up on their own. I think these are such pretty little cards. And then of course you've got your matching gift tag there if you want to create a gift tag with these extra pieces here. So that is really how simple these cards are to assemble, and these have really got me hooked on card making. I absolutely adore these. And let's just get our lovely Picket fence cards back. So here we go, and now we're going. I think let's have a look at adding some extra butterflies to this. So I've added a little butterfly to this one here, and I've added a butterfly to this one over here. Now these are the mini butterflies made with Hearty Soft clay. So these are the cards we've just made. We're going to add some butterflies to those in a moment. So let's get the butterflies I made earlier. So these are the ones that have had a chance to dry overnight. So as you can see, this one has dried three-dimensionally, but the clay is lovely. It's still got movement. It's still got a bit of movement to it. It's like a cross between paper and foam, which is why I love using this. And these are some of the ones that were decorated before. Let's bring these in. And they are, when you're using the white, I'm just using white clay here. Normally I would use some colours, but I'm using white today just to keep things nice and simple, and I'm going to show you how we can decorate these with some markers. So I'm just going to zoom in very carefully just so that you can see these a little more closely. So here we go. That was not preset, so I've just zoomed in, and I'll go back to my normal setting in just a moment. Now, I'm just using some regular marker pens, but these are watercolor markers. But you could also use acrylic, alcohol markers. But I'm trying to keep in line. I'm trying to keep the colors matching the shades that we've been using in the craft in the cards that we've just been making. So if I go for a nice pale pink, this one's not too pale, and just test out the colour. So you can see that's not too dark, and that's because you've got that raised edge on these butterflies. They're really easy to just wipe your marker across the top, and you instantly get some colour. And it doesn't matter if you go over and go into the little hollows, it doesn't matter. This is crafting. So of course I've got butterfly wing tattoo on my finger now because the ink wasn't dry. I'm going to go in with a different colour, and you can blend these colours together. You don't have to get over complicated with the decorating of these. If you wanted to just go over this with black, you could as well, but I like adding a little bit of colour and using what we already have in our stash. And then for the body, I'm just going to go for a pale brown, but you could use green or you could use a blue. or even a grey. But I've tried to avoid going for the really dark colours because we want these to blend in nicely with, or at least complement our project quite nicely. So this is that lovely purple colour again. It kind of matches our kind of pale purple wisteria Wellington boots. So again, very, very simple to decorate. And let's go in with a pale grey this time for this body. That one's maybe a bit too pale, but then that's fine. This is why we experiment. Make more butterflies than you need, and then if you don't like the one that you've just coloured in, you can just paint over it with white or paint over it with black, and then add some gilding wax. Always use that in other projects. But because it's been a few minutes since we molded the butterflies, let's just check on the ones that we were making earlier. And I can already feel there's still movement. They're still a little bit too wet to decorate at this stage. You could go in with a little bit of acrylic paint on this, but you'd have to be very careful that you didn't smudge all that lovely detail in the butterfly's wings. So I would probably still leave this for at least another 10 minutes before going in with decorating it. You've also got to remember when using a water-based or when using markers on paper or on the hearty clay, if you add marker pens to some paper that's a little bit damp, the colour will bleed. The colour will bleed into the paper and you won't get that nice crisp line. So that's another reason why it's important to let these dry completely before you add your colour, because then you're going to maintain that lovely crisp edge. And yeah, this is a lovely pale pink colour on this one. So I might add this to a card in a moment. So make sure that your butterflies are dry before you decorate them. They don't take very long to make, so just make a small handful, leave them to one side, do all your card making. When your butterflies are dry, come back in with your marker pens and your paints and whatever you're going to be using, and then decorate them. So let's just go back to my overhead view here, and let's add some of these lovely butterflies to our cards. So I think I'm going to add a butterfly to this one. Let's get rid of these white ones. And we've got lovely choice of butterflies to choose from here. I'm going to use a little bit of my PVA glue. I do keep this upside down to make sure that the glue comes out easily. And just a little tip, if you find, because this is quite a nice thick glue, if you find that it's you're struggling to get it out, I've just made the hole bigger with my with a little bit of a pokey tool, just so that it would come out of the nozzle a little bit more easily, because it's nice thick glue. So you're not going to need much in the way of glue for these. Oh, actually, that will look quite nice over here. So you could use foam tabs. Of course, now I've got too much glue coming out, or you could just use just a little bit of PVA on your butterfly there. So if you wanted a three-dimensional look, you could just add that butterfly just with a little bit of glue. Now, of course, this won't fit in the envelope if it's three-dimensional, but if you had it flat, or you had it the same height as the rest of your decoupage, then it would be fine to go in an envelope. And I always like to add, it's actually a nice little colour interest here. So let's just pop a little bit of glue on the back of that. Oops. So diddy. And pop that one over there. We don't want to cover up bird's head with a butterfly. But look at that. Isn't that just the sweetest card? And then of course you could just leave that as that is without the flowers on top, and that's still really pretty. But of course I absolutely adore it with the flowers in the top. And if you wanted to mix and match, you could have these red flowers in the pink and pink flowers in the red. You decide your color palette. This is entirely your decision. And then we can have a look at, let's just add one little butterfly. I like this little blue one here. Let's just move those to one side. I want to add that little butterfly over there. So let's just take a little bit more glue. Add that. There we go. And there you've got your little butterfly. So today we've made 2 cards and some butterflies really, really quickly. And you still have plenty in the packs to make many, many more cards. So if you decided you just wanted to use the toppers of the Wellington boots to make a different card on its own and just without that extra 3D element, you could do that. But we would love to see what you create with these packs. And we hope you enjoy these as much as we do. Let me switch back over to my front camera. Hi. Yes, we would. I hope you've enjoyed the crafting I've shown you today, and I hope you're going to have a go yourself. These packs are perfect for beginners as well as for experienced card makers, and just let your creativity run wild. Have fun with these. Mix and match the colours, and let's fill our friends and our friends and colleagues' homes with lovely, lovely flower cards, and bring spring into the home. We would love to see what you create, so please share what you make with us on social media by joining our groups. Christine will pop some links into the comments so you can find our different groups. We all share what we've been working on, ask questions. I'm happy to, we're all happy to help out. If you don't quite know how to do something, ask a question and we'll help you with that. We're hoping to do a lot more of these live crafting events, and I will be back next week, where I'll be showing, we'll be launching our brand new range of molds, some gorgeous sweet safari animals. So that I'm going to be live on Wednesday next week at 12 o'clock GMT. Join me then, and I'll show you our lovely new collection and some fun things that you can make with it. So we hope to see you there. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Happy crafting. Bye.